All right, lesson 6-2, inverse functions and relations. So by the time we're done with this lesson, we should be able to find the inverse of a function or a relation and then determine whether two functions or relations are inverses of each other. So to start off with, to review, remember, a relation pairs an element in the domain to an element in the range. So essentially we're talking about some type of ordered pair. So the inverse relation of that is just taking whatever pair we have and we would flip it around to get the inverse. So if we had the point AB, its inverse would be BA. So again, if we just do a couple of quick examples of that, if we have this table of values, so that would be our relation, the inverse of it, we are just flipping those things around. So we would have -10, -3, -7, 0, 0, 1, and 2, 5. So that would be our inverse relation for that. And then same thing with problem 2. So again, we just are given a list of points. So my inverse, we're just flipping each point around. So it'd be 3, -2, and then -1, 5, and -3, 7. And on a graph, if we're thinking about inverse, again, we are just flipping our points around. So it says graph the coordinates and then find the inverse relation and graph on the same grid. Okay, so I'm going to grab I'm going to graph this in pink to start with. So let's see here. We're going right 1, down 2, and then right 2, up 5, and right 4, down 1. Now these are just random points, so we're not going to connect them. Okay. Or if we want, I guess we could, because it looks like it's going to make a triangle. So yeah, so let's connect them. It'll give you a little bit better idea too of what we're asking you to notice. So now our inverse relation. So let's do the inverse relation in blue. So again, I'm just going to flip this around. So -2, 1. So that means that we're going left 2, up 1. And I'm going to call that point, let's call that A prime. And then 5, 2. So we're going to go right 5, up 2. So let's call that B prime. And then -1, 4. So that's our inverse relation. So we're going to go left 1, up 4. And let's call that C prime. And again, I'm going to connect that into a triangle here. All right, so again, my -2, 1, so that's this one, so that's A prime. 5, 2 is B prime. And -1, 4 is C prime. So if I go back and label the other points, so let's call this A, B, and C. So A is 1, -2, so here's A. And our B is up here, so 2, 5. And C is down here. Now the reason why I use prime is because what we should notice is it almost looks like this is a little bit of a mirror image, where our mirror is right here. So if now granted my scale's a little bit off because I did this by hand, but if I folded this piece of paper, the distance to this line and this one should be the same. So really in inverse, it's creating a mirror image along this line here, and this is a very specific line. This is the equation y = x. So when we're talking about inverses and finding inverses, we're really talking about doing transformations. And if you want to think of it as the transformations that you learned in geometry. So inverse of equations, it's really just a reflection across this line right here. Okay. So, and again, mathematically, this idea, we're just switching things around and kind of doing the opposites. Okay. So on a graph, this is the idea that we're doing, is we're actually reflecting it over that line. So in the next part of this section, we're going to talk about how to find the inverse of a function from the equation.